If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to let us know. All throughout the presentation, anytime you have any question, you can just let us know using the Q&A button and the chat option that you see on the bottom of your screen. With that, let's get started. So I've put up a small statistic here that says 50% of the students who studied abroad went on to perform better academically, and about 97% of them found their employment within 1 year after graduation. So this statistic is a powerful testament to the positive impact that studying abroad can have on you and your academic performance. It shows that studying abroad can not only be a rewarding and enriching experience, but it can also go a great way in improving your academic standing. It can also help you gain new perspectives, explore new cultures, and gain a competitive edge in any environment that you're in, be it in a company or in a classroom. We've seen why you should study abroad, as to why you should choose France to do that. So, as you can see, France is among the leading countries in the world today. We are seventh in economic power and second in Europe in terms of GDP. I've put up some more statistics on the bottom of the screen. As you can see, we've got a lot of Nobel laureates and 15 field medals, especially in fields such as science, technology, and AI. In France, Paris should be your top choice of city for your master's education, because not only are a lot of companies in France located in Paris, but Paris is also a beautiful student city. I know that a lot of us think Paris is a great tourist city, but it also happens to be an excellent student city. Any restaurant, any cafes that you go to. We have Louise with us. Hi, Louise.
Hi, sorry for the delay.
No worries. Louise, if you could please introduce yourself.
Yes, hi, I'm Luis. My name is Luis. I'm a professor here at École Polytechnique in the Department of Applied Mathematics, and I am one of the directors of the TRAI MSCT, of the Trustworthy and Reliable AI MSCT. So I'll have more time to talk to you in a few minutes. I don't want to interrupt Lucy too much.
Thank you, Louise. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about France and the university and then leave the stage to Louise to talk about the program. So as I was saying, Paris happens to be an excellent student city because any cafe or restaurant that you go to, you're going to be able to find student menus. You're going to have free entrance to a lot of museums and libraries in Paris. So that's something to think about. So to sum up, why study in France? You have many English taught programs, so your degree is going to be recognized worldwide. We offer high quality education, so you have good return of investment when it comes to your money. You're going to have a unique student experience with the French lifestyle, and you have something called a great stay opportunity after you graduate. Now, I've put up a specific slide just for this towards the end of my presentation, because we always get a lot of questions from students asking, what about my stay after I finish my studies? How long can I reside in France when I get my job? So we're going to answer this in the end. A little bit about École Polytechnique, who we are. So École Polytechnique was founded in 1794. So we've got a long history behind us. We're situated right in the south of Paris, near a beautiful region called Versailles, with a campus that stretches over 160 hectares. And we've got some big alumni behind some major scientific and technological breakthroughs. And the reason behind that is, as you can see, École Polytechnique has been consistently ranked among the top universities in the world, be it in France again or in the world, be it engineering and technology, computer science, mathematics. We also go by the name IP Paris, as you can see in the bottom of your screen. Again, top of all the other universities in France and in the world for QS World University Rankings and employer reputation. Now, the reason behind that is our three main values, which, as you can see, are excellence, accessibility, and human scale. École Polytechnique strives to offer multidisciplinary programs and strives for excellence in all these programs. Accessibility, we are a highly accessible program. We have a non-biased application approach in all our programs. And human scale, we offer low student to faculty ratio, and we do this to make sure that our students have easy access to their professors. If you've ever visited our website, you would see these three words pasted on all Nukin corners, which is education, research, and innovation. Education, as of today, we have 3,900 students with 501 researchers. We offer research in pure and applied sciences with over 23 laboratories. And we are in tune with our students in labs when it comes to innovation. We've got 400 plus startups created since 2010. And I have a small picture of the campus towards the end of my presentation, and I'm going to show you a building that is called the TRAI X Innovation Center. Again, this is an innovation center created by our very own students, and it's a beautiful building. So this goes on to say that we have no limits, be it in space, be it in politics, be it in Nobel Prize, or we are also part of something called the CAC 40, which I think in France is something similar to the top 40 companies in the stock market or something like that. So as for our programs, we offer programs from the bachelor to the lifelong education, which is executive masters. In bachelor, we have our Bachelor of Science program. In masters, we have 13 different master specializations. So today we're going to be talking about the MSCT. And as I said, we've got 5 teams and 13 programs. As you can see, these are our 13 programs. And today we're going to be talking about the Master of Science and Technology, Trustworthy and Responsible AI. So to sum up, what makes us unique? We're a small cohort, and we do this to make sure that we work with the best students to give them the best experiences. We offer multidisciplinary training, and this is something that I'm sure Luis is going to talk about in the coming slides. But you're going to be seeing that you have something sort of an internship at the end of each year. This is to make sure that you get the practical experiences that you need in your program along with the theoretical ones. And we also offer hands-on experience in industry collaborations. If you've ever visited our website, you would see that we have numerous partners, not just for MSCT TRAI, but also for the other programs. We have something called academic partners and industrial partners, and we do this to make sure that students are able to attend conferences, scientific workshops, whatnot, and more. So with that, I'm going to leave the stage to Luis.
Thank you very much, Lucy. So I thought I would once again perhaps give you a little overview of who I am, and then bore you a little bit with the details of the program, or hopefully excite you a little bit with the details of the program, and leave some time. I mean, there will be time at the end, obviously, for you to ask any questions that you might have about, how is it structured, how have we thought about it, and what are the possibilities, and how are the students seeing a little bit the program as we start now, um, offering this new offering of the MSCT here. So I'm Luis Chamon. I'm originally actually from Brazil. So that's written with a Z, but it's actually said S, right? It's we speak a complicated language too, just like the French people. We So I have been here for a little while, where I'm a professor. I did a little bit of a world tour before getting here. So I was in, I did all my undergraduate in Brazil. I studied then in the US at Penn, at Berkeley, and was in Germany, and landed here in Paris. And it should tell you a lot that I've decided to stay for a little while, and elsewhere I have decided to move. So just going back to Struss's point in the beginning of how this can be, an exciting city to be in. My specialty is in optimization and machine learning, particularly constrained learning, which is an important tool when we want to build trustworthy and reliable systems. I am co-directing this master with Sonia Vanier, who is a professor of the informatics department, who is a specialist also in many of the topics that are of importance and trustworthiness, such as sustainability, interpretability, and so on. We are also supported by two great professors that you will have the potential chance to meet. Karim Lounici, who is a colleague of mine that sits in the next door office, specialist in statistics and ML theory, and Jesse Reed, who is a colleague of Sonia that sits in the other building, who's a specialist in reinforcement learning and ML. So this is just to give you an idea of the type of people that have been thinking and creating this program for you. So let's go to the next slide, where I want to give you a little bit of an idea of why we thought this was an important program to build, right? I mean, if you have interacted with any of these systems, such as, from large language models to recommendation systems at Amazon to, even applied for a job and being desk rejected by by an AI machine, I think you feel that there are a couple of issues here and there that have been popping up with the systems. So a lot of the idea of this course is to try to create the next, let's say, set of engineers that will either develop or research uh, artificial intelligence systems that actually do the things that we want them to do. And that's in a large part where this program is based on, right? So when we talk about trustworthiness, we are really talking about um, many different things that need to go together. So this program is really a broad program, and you will get the opportunity to specialize yourself in different ones. So if we can go to the next slide, the big, let's say, um, reasons for, or let's say the big axes that are leading to trustworthiness are the ones that I present here. This is taken from the EU ethics guideline on trustworthy AI. So this is what the European Union defines to be trustworthiness, and that's based on that we we created this program a little bit based on this idea. So I put a couple of words in boldface, which I think are particularly important, and a lot of topics that you will see throughout your specialization phase of this master's, right? And it could be that you are more interested in matters of fairness, privacy, and transparency, and that might be the direction you want to specialize. But you could be also more in, let's say, interested in environmental and societal well-being and accountability as topics of importance. And this could be another direction that you could specialize yourself in, or in robustness and safety, so technical robustness and safety, which is also an important aspect of trustworthiness, which is not just about um, about the impact that it will have, but about not having a negative impact, right? So really about technical robustness and safety in that sense. So these are the things that appear throughout your courses. And indeed, as we go take a look at the courses, if we can go to the next slide where we chat a little bit about the different courses that you have. The main idea is of the beginning of your course, so your first year as you arrive here on campus, you will have what we call a broad, let's say, basis foundational year about creating the basis for upon which we will build all the knowledge that you have in the second. So this starts with typically some sort of some refresher courses for those of you that get to see either for the first time or again a couple of concepts. It's always good to get a reminder, and then you get to choose a little bit. So there is while in the specialization part we are a little bit more strict about the courses that you can take because we have a more opinionated, let's say, view of the curriculum. In the first year, it's important to give you the opportunity to go see the things you haven't seen, and that's a very so you get to tailor a little bit more your formation. And these are courses in machine learning and statistics, but also courses in more advanced topics such as advanced optimization techniques for AI, um, but also in generative models and graph machine learning, which is a quite interesting aspect that is quite new. And among other things that you take, which include courses such as marketing and management and study cases and innovation, which are more, business classes that for those of you that are interested in perhaps in going towards startups or even working in a company, it's important to have a little bit of an aspect on that, and that's where that comes from. And you have, as Lucy mentioned, a in the third period, the opportunity or the requirement, in fact, I call it an opportunity, but really you have to take an internship. That internship is a research internship that could be done either on in a research laboratory. So we have this year a student that is in the robotics lab at INRIA, which is a research institute here in France. But it could be also in a company. It could be in an industry where this year we have a wide range. And just to give you an idea of uh, of uh, of the situation of the situation of our students, we have 90% of our students have already signed actually their their contracts for the internship this year. So really, it has been. quite well received, let's say, these these new courses that this new track that we have been suggesting for the MSCT in general, and this track in particular. There are students working from HR startups to the OECD, um, to Louis Vuitton and Michelin. So it's really broad spectrum, and the types of works they are doing in these different companies is quite broad. Always on this track of trustworthiness and reliability. Some of them are working on robustness, some of them are working on fairness, and others are working on alignment for large language models. So it's really very broad, and that's the advantage of being really here. Trustworthiness and responsibility is something that impacts a lot of different industries, right? So in the second year, on the other hand, you will have a more, again, as I said, more opinionated part of the course, because this is where our expertise comes in to tell you these are the things you should be knowing about trustworthiness and responsibility. So here we have courses in privacy, uncertainty quantification, constrained learning, explainable AI, verification, bias and fairness, fighting disinformation, and other things that, as you can hear, resonate with the definitions of trustworthiness that I talked about in the beginning, right? These courses can be linked one by one. This is made on purpose, and that's why you get to choose a little bit less here. But in a very big sense, these are really the courses that are interesting to take. These are really the 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 courses that are exciting, let's say, about this program, because this is really when you get to do actual trustworthiness and responsibility more deeply than you do in the first year. So here again, you have these courses that you take, but you also have a transverse project, which is a project that starts in the first period and goes throughout the whole year, so throughout the 2 periods of class, in which you are to work on a case study or on a research project, developing either based on a company offering of a project, or also in research projects that we put forward that are available to you to choose. So at that point, the idea is for you to develop throughout a longer term project, right? That where you can apply all the things that you have seen in the first year and the new techniques that you get to see in this second year in your courses. Again, in the third period, there is another internship that you get to take, um, in which now a slightly longer internship that can be a bit more technical or a bit more research. And really, at that point, it's about you trying to go towards what you are more interested in terms of these different directions that I mentioned in the beginning, either bias or robustness or security. What is it that you're more interested in? I should mention, obviously, that there are a couple of other courses which are, let's say, a broader formation that is part of the core ideals of École Polytechnique. So you get courses also in that are required in humanities, sports, and foreign languages. These are courses that are fundamental to, let's say, your formation as a human being, really. And these are core ideas that we find that are core values, let's put it like that, of École Polytechnique. Finally, after you have gone through these whole courses, the idea is really what can you do with all of this? So what can you become, let's say, as the slide puts it. And there are many different roles that you can take. Some of them I have already mentioned you in terms of topics. So fairness, security, safety, robustness, environmental, social responsibility, but what kind of roles you can actually take. And that could be obviously any role that you would take from a master's in AI. So you could be an AI ML engineer in any company that would require so. But more specifically, you can also go in the direction of working as an ethics specialist, which could be at different levels, both in terms of governmental organizations. So I'm thinking of CNIL, which is the French government numerics group, informatic group of the government, but also the OECD, the EU, etc. Right? Um, and also in terms of reliability and trustworthiness become important parts of not only regulation but also of just we want systems to work, right? And therefore, you can be, both from auditing all the way to solution architect in these things. And the types of industry in which you can work, as I mentioned before, a couple of them where our students are landing now, they have a very broad spectrum. So we have from pharmaceutical all the way to logistics companies such as LVMH, such as Louis Vuitton, and startups in HR and in RegTech or different types of topics. Um, but the fields are really broad, from energy to transport to healthcare to finance, and these are really due to the fact that trustworthiness core is becoming a core necessity in a lot of these. As AI becomes responsible for systems, it becomes more and more the a core necessity, and therefore is in demand more and more of having engineers that are formed especially in this area. So I give it back now, the microphone to Strushi to give us a little bit more information about this program.
Thank you, Louise. That was wonderful. So now that we've spoken about the program, I'm going to go back a little bit about the student life and campus. So as you can see, some of our MS series students can request housing on campus. So your housing is going to be 5 minutes away from your classes. For accommodation, we have individual and shared rooms. And when I say shared rooms, you're going to be sharing your kitchen, your restroom, and your living room is still going to be separate. You have all the facilities that you would need in your student residence, be it large communal rooms, co-working spaces, and a recording studio. So feel free to check out our website for more information on this. The rent is situated at, I think, 575 euros per month. And you have something called CAF from the French government. This is something that I'm going to talk about in my slide about the tuition fees. And as for student support services, oh, sorry. As for student support services, as you can see, we have two teams dedicated just for student support. So we have one called the Basics. Now, the Basics is basically a group of about 4 members. And the main goal of this team is to help you with your administrative activities, especially if you're an international student. So that's supposed to look like helping you set your bank account, helping you with your SIM card, your health insurance, social security, and your visa, most importantly. The Basics is going to meet you on your day one when you're here at the campus, along with the keys to your accommodation if you choose to live on campus. And the second team is the Career Center. As the name suggests, the Career Center is going to be helping you look for your internship. They're going to help you maybe fine tune your resume according to the positions that you want to apply for, or maybe translating your resume to French if that is required, and more. So that's the two teams that we have just for student support. And then as for campus life, so at École Polytechnique, we have a student organization for every level of education that we have. So we have one for the bachelor's, we have one for the civil engineer, and similarly, we have one for the master's. The student organization for master's is called MOOCs. And the MOOCs, basically, they go around all year organizing events, be it cultural events, sporting events, academic events, social events. So they have their own social media and website if you want to check them out, and they also have their own email ID. So in case you want to join them, you can always email them, and they're pretty responsive. We also have 200 plus student clubs and 17 sporting facilities. I have my next slide just to talk about sports. Apart from these, you have your traditional campus facilities like your library, your restaurant, food trucks, and a cafeteria. We also have our very own museum to showcase our long history, and a lake. Like I said, I have a picture with an aerial view of the campus towards the end of my presentation. So we're going to see more of it there. As for the sporting activities, as you can see, these are the 17 sporting activities that I was talking about. You have activities from badminton, parachute, football to kickboxing, judo, and diving. The pointers that you see on the left are the infrastructures that you're going to have with your indoor and outdoor sports. And as Louise mentioned, at École Polytechnique, we highly value the sporting activities that our students do to make sure that students are able to build their team building attitude, being a team player, being a team leader, and also for your overall well-being. Um, As for the employment, now I know you had a slide earlier about the positions that you could do if you choose the program. This slide is going to be for all the MSCT as a whole. So for the 13 programs as an aggregate, as you can see, 71% of our students receive an offer usually before they graduate. And these are the majority of the industry that they usually go towards. So you have consulting, banking, finance, IT, media, and energy and environment. We have a separate website again for the employment statistics if you would like to know more on that. So feel free to check that out. Now that student life is done, I'm going to talk a little bit about the application process for the MSCT program. Very simple, three main steps. The pre-selective process is to check that you have a bachelor's degree and you have a strong English level because the program is going to be in English. The second step is going to be your online application. So this is going to be the most important step. In order to apply, you'll need to complete the online application form and include a list of the documents that you see on the screen. For the transcripts, feel free to share the transcripts of all your previous post-secondary education, including any exchange programs that you've done, as well as your bachelor degrees. If you're currently finishing your bachelor program or your engineering program, feel free to include your enrollment certificate, and then you can give us your final certificates once you have them. We also need the contact details of two referees for your two reference letters. One of them must be a professor at your current institution or previous institution, and the other one can either be another professor or a manager or supervisor if you have any internship experiences or previous job experiences. You'll find a section in the application portal, in the application form, in which you can fill out the contact details of the referees. They will receive an email to complete your reference letters, and once it's done, you will be automatically notified. So it's pretty simple. You do not have to do any extra step for your reference letters. As for your personal statement, we request that you stick to a very specific format, and we advise that you try to respect it as much as you can because we will not be accepting a statement that you have written on your own without answering the questions that we have asked in the personal statement. I can give you a few examples of what the questions could look like. Maybe it's something like explain your motivation behind why you want to join the program, explain your interest in the particular subject. So for TRAI is going to be AI. What are your career goals and plans in the next 3 years or 5 years? Try to be as specific and honest as you can. The goal is not for you to write what will look good on paper, but for us to see who you truly are and what motivates you to enter the program. Resume, we will also need your resume, and it needs to be written in English, 2 pages maximum. You will need to include your current situation, all of your work experiences, your academic background, any extracurricular activities that you've done. Feel free to put that into your resume. Any personal projects that you've done that's related to the subject that you're applying for as well can be included. They're going to go a long way. And as I mentioned before, as the program is in English, we will need an English language proficiency test. We accept IELTS, TOEFL, and Cambridge test, and the test should be taken less than 2 years ago. A little heads up is that we have specific scores that we need in each section of this English language test. I can tell you the scores right now if you need it, or you can also check out our website for the exact scores in each section. Also, if you do not have this document when you're applying, you can always upload the proof of your enrollment for the test and then give us your final scores as soon as you have them. And then you have the application fee that's about 90 euros for two programs. If your file is complete and within the deadlines, and if you are admissible according to the jury, you're going to be called for an interview with a jury that is composed of the program directors and the MSCT admissions team. It may take around 2 weeks after you submit your application to let you know about your admissibility results. You will be interviewed for about 20 to 30 minutes, as you can see in English. We advise that you prepare in advance and be ready for questions about your scientific culture, your motivation to join the program, your interests, anything you've done in your academic or professional background. Feel free to search as much as you can about the program. Try to get in touch with our current students, our alumni. We have a UniBuddy system on our website. We have our social media as well. So feel free to get in touch with our students. Maybe just get to know their experience and any tips if they have them. The goal is for you to go further than just the application file, for us to get to know you better, to see if your motivation for the program is a good fit, and to see basically if we are a good fit for each other. So that's the application process. As for the fees, so the range is situated at 14,000 to 24,000 per year. This is because, as I mentioned before, we have 13 programs and the fees vary depending on the program that you select. So, for the exact number, I would advise that you check out our website. We also have financial opportunities for students. So, you have something called merit based scholarship and need based scholarship. We also have 0% interest loan with the help of the Ecole Polytechnique Foundation. One thing about the scholarships is that you can always apply for them on the same portal where you send us your application. You do not have to apply for it separately unless you apply for something called the Campus France scholarship. So, the Campus France scholarship, Campus France, I'm not sure how many of you know, but Campus France is sort of an agency for students studying in France. They offer a lot of scholarships depending on your nationality. So they have scholarships for every nationality. Feel free to check out their website for more information on this. On our website, we offer scholarships specifically for, I think, Brazil, USA, Col Futuro, Colombia, Singapore, and we have many more scholarships. So feel free to research more on that. And we also have something called CAF, as you can see. So CAF is basically the French government supporting you to pay your rent. You're going to receive about 150 to 200 euros per month on your bank account. So this is sort of a financial support from the French government. If you're a student residing in France, you can apply for the CAF. You can also run a simulation online on their website to see how much you're going to receive. You will need to apply for it as soon as you start living in France. So feel free to know more about that as well. As for the admission calendar, not sure how many of you are aware, but we are on the last round of applications for this year. The application deadline is March 9th, that is next week, noon Paris time. As for the how, you have the QR code right there where is going to lead you to the application portal. So if you're thinking about applying, this would be your time to decide quickly. The slide that I was talking about earlier, what happens after your student visa, basically what happens when you finish studying. So, if you choose to reside in France and you look for a job, you can reside with something called a job seeker or entrepreneur visa, and this is going to last about 1 year. If you choose to leave France and look for a job and then come back, you have something called the VLSTS, which is Visa Long Term Étudiant, and this can go for about 4 years after you leave France and then you return for your job. You also have French citizenship. So, if you've studied in France in a higher education institution for about 2 years, you can finish your studies, your 2 years program, and then you can work for 2 years after you finish your studies. You will be able to apply for your French citizenship at the end of the fourth year. Of course, there are conditions and exemptions for this. So, I would advise that you check the Campus Trans website because this could also vary depending on your nationality. So, feel free to check that out as well. And for my last slide, here's the aerial view of our green campus. As you can see, it's pretty huge. The lake that I was talking about right there, a very fun area, honestly, for me. All throughout the year, it's fun, but in the winters, it can be frozen sometimes. So a little heads up for that. It's fun because we always have a lot of barbecues happening here. People rowing, people just eating their lunches in the middle of the day. That's me. So yeah, a pretty fun spot. This is the Drahi X Innovation Center. This is again an innovation center that was founded by our students. It's a beautiful building if you want to take a meeting, I don't know, in the middle of your day. This is where you're going to have your gym and a lot of your sporting activities. The rounded buildings that you see is going to be accommodations. So that's the on-campus accommodations. And this right here is the main building. So this is where you're going to have your museum, your library, your auditoriums, cafeteria, restaurant, and also majority of your classes are going to be right there. So that's the campus.